Hey there, Aries. Welcome to your reading for mid-August 2025. You have this heart card. It says love, new love on it. And this horse card, it says freedom and action on it. So obviously, if you want love, I feel like there's love coming in for you. I'm laughing because the message that's popping into my head here, Aries, is I feel like you're like swooping in on someone here, which is kind of funny. It's almost like you're... It's almost like you're taking someone off the market, which is kind of funny. I don't know why I think that's so funny, but I do. I don't know. I feel like laughing about it because, I don't know, just popping into my head, right? So it's almost like, you could be, like if you want love, you could be, and here you go, you have the Knight of Cups. You could be attracting a person that like a lot of people are interested in, but it's like maybe you're the only person that like has the guts to actually make this happen or something is popping into my head, so that's interesting. The other thing is that's kind of like popping into my head here is that this could be a person that most people just don't think is single. So you know what I mean. It kind of gives me that feeling, and maybe that's exactly why this person is single is because most people just assume they aren't, and it's like you're taking someone off the market. So I don't know. That's interesting. I feel like this could be something that happens over like the next few months. Like it might not happen like right now, but definitely could be happening for you. In your current general energies, you have the High Priestess. Super critical, important for you, Aries, because we have Neptune is in your sign. And it's retrograding back into Pisces. And so it's not there yet, but it will be back into Pisces soon enough. And I would get started now. I always say that astrology is like a wave. We can choose to catch the energy early, which is better. So we want to, start paying attention to things that we're going to need to pay attention to in the future now, because then we catch the wave early and we get the benefits of the energy early, which is great. And so with Neptune retrograding back into Pisces, it's kind of like you need to pay more attention to your intuition. And, being your 12th house, again, it doesn't matter if you're not a 12th house Pisces, Aries, or Aries Pisces, or however you want to put it. I don't care. But whichever is, again, Pisces is still Aries 12th house, right? So what I think Aries is going to be working on is things that have been under wraps for a long time, or things that are hidden, or even your own truth. We are in a time of truth, which makes this also critically super important for you right now, is that you could be needing to have the courage to express your truths on a deeper level. And that doesn't mean you're lying or anything like that. It just might mean that there are changes you want to make in your life that you've been keeping hidden under wraps, and now it's time to make those changes, right? That's just like one example, but those are all things that are going to benefit you the most at this time. And again, we're in a pretty important astrological time in the first place, so if there was ever a time to pay just a little extra attention to the astrology, I would say it would be right now, for the next few years at least. And I would just do those things. As always, Aries, I think you get the High Priestess with me a lot. I feel like you have a lot of potential, and that's always the challenge with the High Priestess, is that she has no roof over her head, and she's sitting outside of a temple. But there's no roof there. And the whole point of no roof is that she's probably more capable of doing things than she thinks. And this is true for you as well. It's like you are probably are much more capable of accomplishing more than you think. And so I do think it's a good time to have courage to really, to really go for it. Anything you want to accomplish, anything you want to do in your life, just give it that little bit extra effort, and I think it'll be worth it. And also, don't sell yourself short, right? I'm a big fan of one of my favorite quotes of all time. Comes from Les Brown. He says it's better to aim low and it's better to aim high and miss than aim low and hit, right? It's better to go for the crazy goal and get less, because it's probably more than what you originally wanted, right? And so I think now is the time where we all need to embrace that quote. That should be everybody's mantra. So whatever you want to accomplish right now, multiply it by 1,000. Even if you only get 10 times better than what you originally wanted, that's 10 times better than what you originally wanted, right? Your crossing energy is the Temperance card. Yeah, patience. You and Pisces. I don't know. It's like you and Pisces are like best friends. It's funny that Pisces is showing up here. It's like I realize that you two are born right next to each other, but there are no other signs that are right next to each other that are so similar. I have a lot of opposite signs I find are very similar, but not right next to each other, in the astrological wheel, right? And so I think patience and it's the amount of time you invest into things is something you need to think about. I don't really think this is a big deal. It's a minor challenge, but if you're working on something, anything, your health, your business, a relationship, whatever it is, it's like, it's okay if it doesn't work overnight. It's okay if it doesn't change overnight. Things take time to work and heal and fix and all that other stuff. So I kind of just, I don't really feel much here other than the Temperance card is saying to me that you just need to give things time, right? Anything that you're doing. And I also think it'll be worth it as well. But sometimes, it kind of gives me the feelings like sometimes when we have been uncomfortable for a long time, I think we just want to experience comfort. And, I think this is saying like the comfort is coming. There's nothing to worry about. Just take your time. Next, in the area of what's on your mind, you have the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is like fortune after difficulty. So obviously what's on your mind is improvements, like I said, and maybe comfort as well. You could also be dreaming. Every single reading I do for you, Aries, has something about like a dream or working on a dream or working towards a dream or whatever the case may be. These people have these 10 cups above their heads, and they need to bring those cups down to earth, right? And so I feel for a lot of you that this could be about you needing to, take a dream and bring it down to earth so that you can be more successful. And so some of you could be dreaming, could also absolutely be thinking about love. And like I said, it's like you're taking someone off the market. I think it's kind of funny because it's like I think you're like swooping in on a person or something like that. It's like the best way I can describe what I felt at the beginning of the reading there. It's almost like you're getting to someone before anyone else can. I don't know how else to say it, but that's pretty funny. So it could, I think this is popping up as important because, it could be a really good connection that you're attracting into your life. And I would just go for it, especially if you're interested in someone. In your foundation, you have the Chariot. Yeah, a lot of opportunities for you to win. But here's the thing that's popping into my head is like easy wins, but I'm not saying that your wins right now are going to be easy. I think this is saying you need to let your wins be easy. As in, it's like, I think a lot of the times if we set out to accomplish a goal, we put out all these requirements in front of it where we think like, oh, I'm going to start this business, so I'm going to have to work on this like 80 hours a week, and I'm going to have to, do all these things to make sure it works. I feel like this is saying no. I think it's saying, no, you don't have to work 80 hours a week. You could probably make this work in an easier way. And so I think this is saying, it's kind of like saying don't overcomplicate the wins that you want to have at this time. I'm definitely getting that feeling from the reading. Now, one thing I will say is that in the 2025 readings, basically everyone had a message of needing to keep things simple, right? And so, it's kind of like saying that to me, the Chariot, for whatever reason. That's like the intuitive message I'm getting off the card. Again, I read intuitively. I don't just regurgitate card meanings. One thing I will say is he's just in alignment with what he wants. He is just the thing that he wants to be. He has these stars up here, these moons down here, and it represents as above, so below. So because he's in alignment, he gets what he wants. And again, I think that's like going to be the important thing for you, is that being in alignment is going to be the thing that attracts, the best stuff into your life. So I would just be in alignment with that energy for sure. Next, in the area of the past, this is the energy that you are moving past. You have this Cosmic Justice card and this Love and Music card. So I even though this is coming up in the past, I do feel there's definitely new love. It could be a knight in shining armor. It could be showing up in the past because it could be a person that you've been thinking about, or a person that you've met but maybe you haven't dated or anything yet. I do think that some of you are experiencing justice in some sense, but one thing I will say is you have this new love card, which is Libra in this deck right here, and there's also a scale on that card, right? So we have a scale right here. You could be attracting a Libra for sure into your life, but I also think that this Cosmic Justice card could say that this person is like a gift, if you're attracting a person. I even think if you don't want love, you could be attracting a person that's a gift, but they might be like a guide, a mentor, a person in business that helps you do something or something like that. Like it feels to me like this first part of the reading is saying that you're attracting or you're meeting a person that really could be a gift from the universe. And they could be helping you with anything. Again, it doesn't have to just be love. It could be, pretty much anything. Ten of Cups, again, is a dream. So, this could even be a person that really helps you bring a dream down to earth. And like, again, all your readings for the past couple years have really been pushing Aries to accomplish a dream. And again, I think, just down and dirty Chris's crappy astrology here, it's that Neptune and having been in Pisces. It's like some sort of dream that's under wraps. It's something that you truly want in life. That is the dream that you are working towards, right? And there's like something deeper about it. it's like, I always tell the cookie story. And if you don't know what the cookie story is, long story short, when we're children, we ask our mom for a cookie before dinner. Mom says, no, you have to eat your dinner first, right? So eventually, instead of asking for a cookie, we say, Mom, I'm hungry, right? And what we really want is the cookie. So we are all trained from a very young age to not ask for what we want. So, it kind of reminds me of like YouTube. It's like most people on YouTube, it's like, do they really want to be on YouTube, or is it that they want to be famous? I don't know, right? Maybe everybody's different. It's like maybe they want to be famous. Maybe they want something deep. They want something deeper, right? And I do feel that for you, Aries, where the Knight of Cups, it's almost like encouraging you to go deeper on your desires. It's like you're already doing something that's close. Like I said, it's like, I used YouTube as an example. So let's just pretend you're on YouTube, right? It's like, but maybe there's something, a deeper step that has to be taken. And, there's a lot, there are things in this reading that are talking about like your truth, living your truth and making that happen. That's what I think this reading is about. There you go. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, in the area of the very near future, you have this temptation card. It says, what is tempting you at this moment may not be a wise choice. Yeah, and like all the readings in July and August, the devil came up a lot. I definitely think we all should be careful of temptation. You have this Libra card. It says new love. It says a new romantic relationship is unfolding that will be deeply meaningful to you. Yes, clearly. So definitely could be a very solid connection that's coming in for you if you're wanting love. I mean, I felt it right away. And it makes sense because you also have that love, new love card as your first card in this reading. And you also have the Ten of Cups, which is great. You have the Eight of Swords. Yeah, definitely, Aries, I would make sure that you are challenging yourself to like go beyond your limitations with the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is that kind of card. And also with the High Priestess, right? Again, she is much more capable than she realizes. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I think you probably have more skills or more talents, gifts, skills, and abilities than you realize. And, I would do like the hard thing at this time. I'm not saying that, and I'm not even saying you have to do it in the hard way, right? It's with the Chariot. That Chariot was really saying to me, like, keep it simple. But, maybe it's hard as in that you have to admit the truth, right? That's what I mean by hard, is that I don't think whatever action you're taking here is hard. I think admitting the truth to yourself of what you really want could be a little bit of a challenge because it probably means that you have to change or you have to, do something different, or maybe you're going to upset people. Although I don't really see that here in the reading. I'm just, giving you some examples here, and, I would pay attention to that. Eight of Swords, again, is only seeing one way of doing things when there are many. So with the Eight of Swords, we have to stay open to all ways of being successful in life. And as long as we stay open and flexible and, blah, 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 all that, we will be more successful. In your outcome row, you have this Wish Upon a Star card and this Royal You card. There you go. Definitely time for you to manifest that dream on Earth with that Wish Upon a Star card. The Royal You card, what's funny is what's popping into my head with the Royal You card is it's almost like Empress energy in the sense that you have to care. Let me put it this way. Sometimes I feel with the Empress that the Empress is really saying to us, like what if you get it in a reading, that it's saying to you, you have to care about yourself enough to do these things, to tell the truth about yourself. You have to care about yourself to believe that you deserve the best. You have to care about yourself to believe that you can accomplish things. And, that is part of self-care, is not making sure that you're not settling, making sure you're not cheating yourself out of, things that could be really good in your life, right? And so that's more the energy I get off this card. It's like not really saying anything to me other than you need to care about yourself enough, right? You have the Six of Cups. Six of Cups is coming up in the area of the next few months. So again, you could be starting something with someone and it starts out like very playful, joyful, just like fun, slow. And I think that would be good for you. A lot of people read the Six of Cups as a perfect person coming back from the past. Again, as I always say, I don't. To me, the Six of Cups can represent thinking about the past, but it doesn't really represent the past. But what I would say is I do think you could be attracting a person into your life. And it just, like, the Six of Cups can be a soulmate. And I also always think of the Six of Cups as something that's not, like, too serious up front. And that is not a bad thing. That is probably a good thing. It's like you're taking your time. You're seeing how things go. You're just allowing things to develop. You're allowing things to get going. All that other stuff, right? So that's kind of more the energy I get off this card. It's not really saying, like, you can't it's not saying don't take it seriously. It's just saying, like, allow it to be fun, allow it to be lighthearted and playful, and allow it to develop. It's like sometimes I think we get into a relationship and we're like, I have to marry this person. That's too serious, right? So instead of doing that, like, just allowing it to be a fun thing would be a good idea. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the King of Pentacles. I love the King of Pentacles for love because it's usually a person who wants something permanent, so definitely could be a very solid connection. Again, also very good for work. So like I said earlier, if you're attracting a person who helps you in business, or is going to help you in business, or is going to help you in work or anything else, definitely very good for those people. I kind of feel like you're just in a very calm energy. And it's really weird. I've done 6 readings today. I feel very motivated today. All the other readings that I did today, I felt very, they were great readings, but I just felt they were like very energetic, very, more, there was like a lot more energy. Not that there isn't a lot of energy here, but your reading feels more calm to me. Your reading feels more kind of like you being in a calm place, which, again, obviously, maybe that's an energy you need to embrace, is like calm. Maybe you need to put yourself in more calm positions, or maybe you should be focusing on doing things that make you feel more like calm and relaxed. Showing up in the area of your closest relationships, maybe you need to surround yourself only with people who make you feel calm and relaxed, right? Instead of people who stress you out. I don't know. It's popping into my head with that card for sure. And also, again, it's a money card, so I really think that there also, for a lot of you, there are clearly is or are people that could really help you financially. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Queen of Wands, which is great. Queen of Wands is like bold, assertive. She is willing to get started on something. She's my card of learning as you go. So she kind of says that you are willing to start things this month, where maybe you don't know how to get started, or you don't know exactly what to do, but you're going to do them anyway. So I just feel like you're in a good position with the Queen of Wands. Next, with your outcome, you have the Magician. The Magician is a great outcome as well. It kind of says that you can have whatever you want. You can attract or manifest, or you can use your tools here to create whatever you want this month. I always pull the card that he's pointing to. We're going to say it's this one right here. And what do you know? This card says quieting the mind, right? I said this on the King of Pentacles. I was getting like more calm, subdued energy, right? Same thing with the Chariot. It's like not hard winds or something was popping into my head with that Chariot. So I think it would be better for you to be, like, I'm not saying you should be passive or anything like that, but, I think, being more in that flow would be a good idea with this card. So yes, that's definitely what I would focus on here. Again, it popped into my head that, you should be focusing on easy wins. And like I said, it's not that like wins are meant to be easy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, don't overcomplicate things. With the High Priestess and the Temperance card, you have the Ace of Wands. Also great. Ace of Wands is out with the old, in with the new. So you could be starting something new. I think a lot of you are, but again, I think what you're starting has to do with your truth. It's time for Aries to tell the truth. Saturn in Aries. There's something about Saturn and Aries, I think, that is going to make you tell the truth. But like I said, I'm not calling you a liar. It's more your truth. It's like the deeper truth, the thing that you actually want in life. That's the truth you're telling. And you're not telling it to anyone. You're living it. You're living your truth, right? And so I think that's the more important point that needs to be made with these cards. And the Ace of Wands is great because, it's a very motivational card. It's kind of like, I always say that it's a card that's like the spark of life, the spark of hope. It's just that one thing we need sometimes to get motivated, to act on something or to create something. So I think you're creating just great things with that card. Sure. With the Ten of Cups, you have 2 cards. You have the Wheel of Fortune and the Seven of Pentacles. The Wheel of Fortune can represent a change in your fortunes. A lot of you are definitely making a change in work here with that Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is my card that says, is the juice worth the squeeze? He's looking at those 7 pentacles and he's saying, is it worth it for me to keep investing my time, effort, energy into those pentacles? Or, is there something else that I should be doing with my time? And the Wheel of Fortune is like a change in your fortunes. So I think a lot of you could be doing things at this time to like change your fortunes or to improve your fortunes, which obviously that would be good. With the Chariot, you have 2 cards again. Sure, we'll take it. You have the 8 of Swords and the Star, which is also great. You have the 8 of Swords twice, but you have the Freedom in Action card, that horse card, as your first card. You have the Chariot, which is also freedom. And so a lot of you could be setting yourself free from something that you have been stuck with. And the star is about like having a North Star, having a guiding light. The Chariot needs something to aim at as well. The Chariot represents as above, so below. So the way that he is aiming at his goal is he is matching his goal's energy. He wants something, so he becomes that thing that he wants, right? And the same thing with the star. The star is like having a North Star. It's like having a focus. So, again, it's clear to me that having a focus this month, not even just this month, but I would also say, for the next few months, really, Aries, would be really good for you to know what you are aiming at, to have an idea of what you want, and then start matching the energy, start adopting the habits of success of whatever you want, right? And if you do that, I think you'll get there probably a lot faster than you think with the Chariot. Yes, with the Knight of Cups, you have the Lovers. For some of you, I feel this is a person that you already know. For others, obviously it could be a new person. I kind of feel like this is a person that is on your mind. It's like sometimes we're interested in a person, but it's like they don't really take up too much brain space. And I'm not saying this person is going to take up brain space either, but I think this person pops up in your head more than other people. And maybe that's something that you notice. It's popping into my head intuitively that this is a person you think about, or if you haven't met this person yet, it is a person you will think about. Maybe there's like a little bit more fantasy going on here. Like I said, maybe you fantasize more about this person than normal or something. I don't know. It's popping into my head. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Hierophant. Yeah, rules. This came up for Libra, your opposite sign as well. I think you need to be willing to break the rules at this time. The Hierophant can be marriage. So, again, good for love, for sure. But, sometimes I think the Hierophant just says that we have to think outside the box. And Eight of Swords is definitely a card that needs outside-the-box solutions. She is only thinking of one way to solve her problem when there are many ways that she could solve her problem. So the Hierophant really wants you to be flexible in how you approach your problems or challenges or, anything else. And it's not about like having the right or wrong answer. And it's not about doing anything illegal either. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about that sometimes we just have to do things differently. And if we do that and think outside the box, then we can become successful. With the Six of Cups, you have the Seven of Cups. Told you. Card of fantasizing. I'm telling you right now, I think that you could be attracting a person that you will be fantasizing a lot about. And maybe that's different than what normally happens, so I would pay attention to that. One thing I will say is, it's fine to fantasize, but when Neptune does go back into Pisces, the problem with Neptune and Pisces is that the fantasy becomes more attractive than the reality, so we just escape to the fantasy and we don't ever make the connection a reality. So Neptune and Pisces doesn't say don't fantasize, it just says, bring that fantasy down into reality. It says if you are fantasizing about a person or whatever, or let's say you get into a relationship and you're finding yourself fantasizing a lot about it, which can happen, then it says, make sure to bring those things into the relationship for real. Don't just like live it in your head. That's the problem with Neptune and Pisces, I think sometimes, is like we can live something in our head and then it never, because we actually lived it in our head, it never gets into reality. So not even just love, right? You could be fantasizing about, business ideas and things like that. But again, the problem is that we actually do it up here with Neptune and Pisces and we never bring it into the real world. And so just make sure you're taking action on your ideas, your fantasies. If you do that, then you'll be fine. With the King of Pentacles, a lot of repeating cards, or a lot of double cards here. You have the Seven of Wands and the Moon. So the Seven of Wands, I think you're going to be very sure of this as well, Aries. For those of you that want love, there's a certain level of like certainty that's popping into my head here, where it's like you're more sure of it. It's like maybe your past relationships have been a little bit like unsure, or you're not sure. I think this is a sure thing, is what I feel like saying to you. It's like you're going to meet a person and you're going to be like, yes, this one. It's like more certain. The Moon, again, can be the fantasy thing, right? So again, part of the Moon is that we have to go on the journey. I'm wondering, like, some of you could be meeting a person where maybe you're not sure how it's going to come together. Like that could mean that you're meeting a person at a distance, for example, which could be a problem, or just like a little, I don't think it's a problem. I actually don't think it will be a problem based off this reading, but maybe you think it's a problem or will think it's a problem in the future, or it's something you're going to have to solve, but I think you will, plain and simple. The Moon is about seeing something through to the end. It basically says you will if you make it happen. Didn't I say Hangman a minute ago, or am I losing my mind? I'm pretty sure I accidentally called the card the Hangman, but you have the Queen of Wands, you have the Hangman. Hangman is about new perspectives, which definitely with the Eight of Swords and the Hierophant, I think you need new perspectives. Usually if we're stuck with the Eight of Swords and the Hierophant, again, we are just too attached to dogma. That is Neptune and Aries. Neptune and Aries is going to be dogma, meaning that, people will come up with a way of doing things, and that people will say, this is how you have to do this. But really, what we have to learn is that there are other ways to do things, right? And so Hangman just says, be willing to see things from another perspective, and if you are, then things will go well. With the Magician, yes, you have the Queen of Pentacles, Queen and King of Pentacles, or where was that King of Pentacles? Right here. So definitely could be a divine counterpart. I really like the King and Queen of Pentacles together in readings because they represent like two people who really want to be together. So definitely could be a solid connection. You have this Grapes card. It says time to go out and have fun. Yes, everybody has been getting these messages all year. I think it's one of those years where it's like we need to get out. We need to go do something and, other than like work or stay home. I think the universe is trying to bring more fun to the earth, so I would do it. You have this diamond. It says you'll be receiving or giving a precious gift. I'm telling you right now, you could be attracting the gift of a person. I think, again, even if it's not love. Even if it is love, I think some of you could be attracting both. It's like could be attracting love, and also you could be attracting like a guide or a person that can help you do something. And, I said that earlier in the reading. You have a Staff card. It says you will be taken care of in difficult times. Yeah, there's nothing to worry about. This deck has a bunch of cards that are very similar to this, and they come up for everyone nowadays. So I think there's a lot of stuff to worry about, but, the universe has really been saying, like, don't worry. You have this Ram card. It says stubborn, aggressive person. I don't know. It might be you, Aries. That would be you right there, right? So I would be careful of being too stubborn. Yeah, and you can't make this up. Your last card says Jug. It says lighthearted, carefree time. I think that the more lighthearted of an approach you can take to things, not just love, also with the Six of Cups, but also, like I said, with that Chariot, I think this reading is saying you need to let wins happen, in a more lighthearted way. It's like there are a bunch of wins that you could be having right now, but I think if you're like saying, oh, to have this win, to reach this goal, I have to do all these hard things, the universe is like, no, not going to happen. But if you say, I'm going to allow these wins to happen, now we're talking. Now I think the universe can allow those wins to happen. So, that's the energy I would embrace. But yeah, this looks really good, Aries. I like this. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.